Woke madness.
You had the anti-Trump, anti-Semitic activists get together protesting over the weekend. About 200 or so started at the Space Needle. They then marched to the Amazon spheres as D'Artagnan was trying to play with a dog that he had met at the little dog park that sort of overlooked the area that the protesters had gathered. All he was trying to do was play and poop. And what was he greeted with? Incredibly boring and annoying speeches the entire time. And the only good thing about all of it was that it started to rain. And that made me feel really good inside because all these dopes were out there soaked. And I don't know if you realize this, but when you're wearing black bloc and trying to cover all of your identity, you're wearing extra clothing that ends up getting wet. And then you're just carrying it. It gets heavy. You start to shiver. Your skin starts to deteriorate the longer that you're standing there or sitting there in your soaked clothing. Now, they, I'm sure, were really excited to hear speeches like this.
One united enemy, and that is U.S. empire.
The enemy is the U.S. empire. Did you write that down?
Yeah.
Okay. There's going to be a quiz later. What's the enemy?
The U.S. empire.
Oh, you got it.
Even as a second Donald Trump presidency is oncoming, even though it is a nightmare for the impending fascism that will come down on our communities.
Didn't you hate the fascism from 2016 to 2020? It was so fascistic. Every day I woke up, I said, darn it, it's another day of fascism. I can't wait until this fascist leaves office.
Then you were hauled off to an internment camp.
I had to do my radio show from an internment camp for a very long time. But finally I was released. You know who that hero who released me was? Joe Biden.
No! Fascist takeover changes the fact that the people are the ones that will bring real change!
I mean, the people did bring real change. They voted for Donald Trump, dum-dum. That seems to be kind of important. We could have stuck with the current administration minus the old guy. But what did the voters decide to do? They decided to go with Donald Trump.
Well, democracy to them just means stuff we like, basically.
Well, democracy isn't just stuff they like, but it's voting for the people and causes they support. And if you don't vote for who they want you to vote, then democracy is in peril, which seems kind of odd to me. It seems like that is quite literally part of the whole democratic system.
Give these people a glossary.
Well, you think they're going to read any of that? I mean, come on. If you can't do it in a picture book, they're not going to understand. Now, before they got to the Space Needle and they did their silly speeches, I don't know why they ended with a speech on, because I was there till sort of the end. They ended on a speech about the Philippines. And I don't know why. I mean, wasn't this a whole anti-America, anti-fascist kind of thing while pretending that you support America? But when you constantly complain about colonialism and whatnot, we kind of know exactly where you're going. But before they got to that point, like I said, Black Bloc, Antifa guys were there, and gals who identify as guys and guys who identify as gals. There's weirdly a large, and I don't know why this is, there is a disproportionate number of Antifa members who are transgender. Isn't it odd? Of all the groups to join, I figure, a softball team makes sense, but Antifa just seems kind of weird to me. There's lots of other groups you can join.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, though, just because, they're far left. So.
Yeah, no, I get that, I guess. But they surrounded an SPD patrol vehicle at one point, started to mock the officers, and then did what I always love to make fun of them for.
People united will never be defeated!
That doesn't rhyme. I don't understand. The people united will never be defeated?
We need to workshop that one.
But they've been using it they've been using this for years and years and years. They can't get, I thought they were supposed to rhyme. It's a chant. It's not catchy at all. And then they forgot the rest. I was like, all right, are we still doing this? I love this. What is your badge number? I'm going to report you. I'm going to report you to the principal. I'm going to tell on you. I'm going to report you to the police, which is odd because I hate the police, but okay, now it doesn't. Never, the people united, defeated. And then they just shrug and they walk home alone. They got in the way of the cops. finally they were all like, yeah, no.
Move back!
Yeah.
Away from the vehicle now! Are you going to get arrested?
You need to get out of the way now.
Move back now! Move back now! Or you will be arrested for obstruction!
They moved back because he yelled it.
It's kind of refreshing to hear Seattle cops yell at bad
I
people.
love it. I absolutely love it. They did make one arrest, at least one that they talked about, reported. They arrested a 17-year-old teenager for felony property damage. Now, because of the age and because of the alleged crime, you know that there will be no consequences whatsoever of the 17-year-old, who I think my favorite of the alleged graffiti of which she is responsible, according to the police, and they took photos and they posted it on the blotter, was, so one of them was SPD, there's blood on your hands. Now, the reason why I give you that is because she was trying to do one for Boeing, but I guess she either was arrested at the time or she just forgot the rest of it because she said, Boeing, there's blood on you. And this is how she spelled Boeing, B-O-I-N-G. Boing.
Boing.
Boing, there's blood on your, and it just says on you, Y-E, and then and E, I don't even know. She meant for an O, obviously. But then she got, I guess, arrested, or she just forgot what the rest of the message was because it doesn't rhyme. And if it doesn't rhyme, you're not going to remember it as much. But you've got your standard F Trump, pigs leave, Seattle with Gaza, we will set free Gaza. Kind of sounds like she's a terrorist. Duwamish land, that's always fun.
Oh, he's got to have the land acknowledgement.
Yeah, they had to land acknowledgement via felony property damage. So they made the arrest. They say they found her with a spray paint bottle and her hands had the spray paint on it, which is what I think the technical term is called damning evidence. They then attempted to have her booked into the juvenile detention center, but they were all like, we don't book. Are you nuts? Are you? Come back when she's mass murdered. Then we'll go ahead and book her. So they ended up releasing her to her parents, who I'm sure are very responsible and are not encouraging this kind of behavior in the least. And actually, I hope I'm wrong. I hope they are, in fact, responsible and punish this young girl because she's going down the wrong path. And if you are a parent who doesn't want your kid to live with you until they're 47 years old, perhaps when something like this happens, you step up and course correct because they're going to be a barista for the rest of their lives.
At least they'll get really good at it.
I guess. Until their job is replaced with a Keurig, which could replace it right now. You literally put a little pod and push a button, and then you got a cup of coffee.
Provide better customer service, too, probably.
Yeah, let's not go crazy there. Let's relax. The only thing about this girl's life that will ever change is her hair color, I guess. But otherwise, she's going to be living at home. And I will say this, because of equity, you never really hear about women living at home. It's always men. It always seems to be men. You notice that?
That's true.
It's odd. Are there no deadbeat women?
I'm sure there's plenty, so
it's just kind of odd that it does. So hashtag representation. I want to see a variety of diverse faces represent the deadbeats who never grow up, never get a job that pays for them to sustain themselves in their own apartment. I think that's called progress. See, I just turned this negative story into a positive one.